Hello, you shiny happy people. This, right here, is See You Next Time. And today we're going to spend more time with those insufferable entitled parents. Someone's got to do it. Just like someone's got to like, comment and subscribe. Go on, do it. It's a whole lot of fun. There's prizes to be won.
It's wacky, it's fun, it's crazy, it's outrageous! It's a whole lot of fun, prizes to be won. Use your body and your brain if you want to play the game.
We got fisticuffs in the toy shop, unsettlingly creepy 13-year-old boys with their equally disturbing mothers, assault with a dash of cutesy innocence, and downright scary attempted abuse of the mandated reporter system. Enjoy. This one's from Jaderian. My daughter decks an entitled mother over a toy. So, I didn't think these stories were real. I always thought they were over-exaggerated, and these entitled mums couldn't possibly be real. Well, enter this entitled woman who entered our lives today. So, with the big lit-up holiday centred around a fat man in a red suit and a baby being born, my kids needed to buy presents for their friends. With the entire family being sick for most of December, we finally got to a store. Now, I only took 3 of the 5 kids, as my wife took the other 2. One very important thing to point out is my 6-year-old is mildly autistic. He is also a sponge when it comes to learning, and is a grade ahead, but without stimulation he can be a nightmare. We're still working on that. We told him no tablet, but that he could bring any toy he wanted, so he brought this puzzle cube. We were walking through the store and I told my oldest, 11 female, to watch her brother as I had their 4-year-old brother. We were in the toy section when I hear my son scream. I turned to see my daughter wrenching the toy out of another kid's hands and yelling at him, "It's not yours, let go!" She eventually got the toy and I got between them and the kid started to hit me. I pushed him back a bit and said very loudly, instant regret as my throat was still sore, "No hitting." He then rushed past me and went after my daughter who was still holding the cube. My daughter just pushed the kid down the aisle. At this point, the other parents are starting to get involved. The kid came to swing at my daughter again and she once again threw him to the ground. It was at this point the boy's entitled mother showed up, and instead of taking care of her demon spawn, the entitled mother grabbed my daughter's hair. My daughter turned around quick and decked this EM right in the stomach. The entitled mother tried to hit my daughter, and my daughter punched her in the face. The chaos ended, and it wasn't until this point that I could actually see all that was going on. I was restraining the little devil. My sons were being looked after by a very nice lady, and the entitled mother was sitting on the floor crying. It was then that I heard a deep James Earl Jones kind of voice come from behind me, saying, "Hey, Mac, let me take care of that." I didn't understand what he meant, so I just responded, "What?" And he replied, "That's my son and that. Stop crying, you started this mess. Is my wife." She looked up at him and yelled something obscene, and he very calmly said, "Get up, apologize, and maybe they won't press charges." She snapped with a, "You're a crappy husband." Aftermath, as a lot happened, so I'll sum up. Police were called, cameras were looked at, entitled mother was arrested for assaulting a minor, the demon spawn was forced by his father to apologise to everyone, the manager apologised to the point I got annoyed, and the manager gave us a discount on our order. Oh, and remember the nice lady? She's a special education teacher, so that was lucky. And finally my daughter was allowed to get her game of choice, because Daddy was proud of her. Edit. Just wanted to add, my daughter's been boxing for about 3 years now. She will be entering her first real 6-round match in 2 months. The dad was apparently just biding his time to divorce his wife. He was waiting to make sure that when he did, he would get full custody. He never thought she would pull a stunt like she did yesterday. Reading this, you may not be able to realise that all this happened in less than 5 minutes. I took my eye off my daughter for about a second to grab the demon spawn to stop him from hitting people. When the entitled mother grabbed my daughter, the 2 punches went very quick. Yeah, good on you, girl. This one's from Fragrant Coral. Entitled parent defends her son being pervy in a swimming changing room. So, you all know how this works. I'm a teenage girl and was 14 at the time of this story. I go to a fun session at the local pool very often. It's basically a public swim with an inflatable thingy at the back of the deep end for people to play on. The changing rooms are 2 separate rooms, one for men and one for women. There's a small section for showers and the rest are cubicles with curtains instead of doors for changing in. After getting changed, it's required that you leave the curtain open so people know that it's vacant. Often there are young boys in the women's changing rooms because mothers can't go into the men's with their sons, but under 13s can't go alone. One particularly busy day, my mother and I were changing on completely different sides of the room, and I was just about to take off my shirt when a hand grabs my curtain and attempts to pull it open. I yelped slightly and grabbed the curtain, pulling it back to see who was doing this. A kid who looked like he was old enough to be alone in the men's, but younger than me, was there. I frown as I worry about being watched while getting changed a little too much, reading stories about cameras and double-sided mirrors in dressing rooms at stores, etc., and say in a fairly loud and stern voice, "If the curtain is closed, it's being used. I'm changing here. Don't try and come in," before semi-violently closing the curtain. I was in my bra and leggings when I noticed a hand closer to the bottom of the curtain. In hindsight, he was probably doing this to seem less noticeable. I jumped down and grabbed the entitled kid's hand, pushing him away while trying to hide the fact I was in my bra by using my other hand to hold the curtain. Now extremely frustrated, I yell, "Go away, I'm in here." After a second or two, I grab my towel and cover up, waiting for the kid to try again. After a couple of minutes, I decide that it's stupid to waste my time, and continue to change, surprisingly enough, uninterrupted by the entitled kid. I walked out in my swimsuit and sat on a small waiting bench near the door to the pool, as this particular place waited until most people had finished changing to let us in. After a while, entitled kid and his mum came over in swimsuits, sitting down next to me. I felt uncomfortable, sure, but entitled parent was in between him and I, so not much could happen, right? Well, no, because while I was watching the curtain of my mum's cubicle for her to come out, I feel a hand on my chest. I slap it away, and this is what follows. Me. "What the hell do you think you're doing, you creep?" Entitled parent. "Excuse me, what did you just call my son?" "He was trying to open my curtain when I was changing earlier, and you can't tell me you didn't see him lean across you to grab my chest just now. The least he deserves is to be called a damn creep." "He was just playing around. He's a little kid. How dare you try to discipline him?" "A little kid? He looks like he could be using the men's by now. How old is he?" "He's 13. Not like I need to explain that to you. Or do I, considering how stupid and dramatic you're acting?" "If he's 13, then he should be in the men's. Besides, I'm 14, and I know how to respect people. He should too." "I'm his mother. I know better than you that he cannot be alone in the men's changing rooms." Turning to her son. "Did you try and open her curtain or touch her, sweetie?" "No. Ew." "See? Stop lying for attention." I was yelling now. "You've got to be kidding me. You sat there while he leaned over you to touch my chest." At this point, my mum was walking over, confused. The entitled mother was yelling back. "How dare you yell at me? I'm an adult woman. You should respect your elders. Haven't your parents or teachers told you this yet?" "Well, maybe you or your kid's teachers should tell him not to try and grab my tits." Now my mum was here and very angry. She spoke directly to the entitled mother. "Is this true?" "Oh, you're her mother. Well, teach her some manners. She's got a crush on my son as pretending that he was touching her." "I know 100% that's a lie. My daughter has a boyfriend, so there's no way she could like him. Not to mention she's not some kind of pathological liar, unlike you. I hate to break it to you, but he's not some kind of perfect little angel." "Ah, how dare you!" And she continues into a tangent about parenting and her perfect son. My mother motioned for me to follow her, and we left the changing rooms and asked the receptionist for some help. They both got kicked out, and had some kind of ban applied to the both of them. I'm not sure if it was permanent or not, but nothing special happened apart from that. I wish I'd called the police about it or something, but then again, he was just a 13-year-old, so I don't know if much could have been done about it. Well, this is creepy as all hell, isn't it? The fact that this kid's been brought up thinking this behaviour is okay, and the mother's effectively encouraging it, is really concerning. While a long time has passed in this case, it's probably worth taking situations like this up the chain. While it's certainly possible someone else will deliver a short, sharp message, as his mother apparently refuses to do, it's certainly more than possible that this 13-year-old boy will become an adult with very twisted ideas about what's okay. This one's from said Fugjuka. She said something about calling the peas, which tastes very bad. So, this happened when I was 8. I was at a local basketball court and I had just eaten a lot of sugar. My dad was taking care of my little sister, and I was playing basketball alone. Enter entitled mother.
Can you please give me your ball? My 15-year-old son needs it.
No, thank you. The ball was new. It's important to know I was as nervous as any 8-year-old would be.
Give me that ball, you effing bitch!
Mummy says no saying bad words. She lunges for my ball and I get slightly scraped, but I dodge her. She starts chasing me, and I had just eaten a lot of sugar. I outran her easily and she tripped.
I will call the police, you effing bitch, and arrest you for assault!
She then calls the police, and being the 8-year-old, I was scared and confused. The police came and said, "Ma'am, what happened?" The entitled mother goes rambling on, and yeah. The police turn to me. "Okay, kid, what's your statement?"
What's a statement?
"What happened?"
Oh, the mean mom's tried to get my ball and she missed. I runs and she tripped, and then she say something about calling the peas, which tastes very bad.
This is what my past self said. Any witnesses? The entitled mother motions for her son to back her up. The son says, the kid is telling the truth, and he gives a less kiddish version of what happened. Entitled mother comes on with the shocked Pikachu face. A few more witnesses confirm what happened, and I show the officer the scrape. In my state, assaulting a child is a very serious crime, so I think she got a lot of jail time. TLDR, Mom tries to take my ball, probably goes to jail. I'm slightly dubious about this one, but I can imagine it being true. And if it is, I suspect the 15-year-old son was absolutely sick to the back teeth of his mum's BS. I think the entitled mother needed some serious psychiatric help, so I hope it was a section rather than prison. This one's from Lemon Dynamite. Entitled mother blackmails daughter to have a relationship with her. I'm a 30-year-old woman, and I've had a very rocky relationship with my mother. To begin with, my entitled mother is a mandatory reporter now, which is ironic since I was taken away from her and given to my father at 14 because of physical and sexual abuse happening in her care, and the physical at her hand. So, the backstory. As an adult now, I have 2 children, an 11-year-old daughter and 12-year-old son. Entitled mother has never babysat or kept them without my supervision. Although I've never kept them from seeing her, now that they are old enough I do let them choose if they see her or not. They, however, are uncomfortable around her, so they don't spend much time with her, nor will I force them to. I've never fully cut her off, but I am low contact with her because of continued emotional abuse and gaslighting towards me. So now on to the current issue with entitled mother. 2 nights ago she called me while she was intoxicated, and on top of basic yelling at me, she was also bringing up my traumas and triggered a PTSD attack. Then, while I was having the attack and my partner tried to calm me down, entitled mother began claiming that she's never done anything wrong, it wasn't her fault, and told me I should
Just shut up and get over it already.
Then, after beginning the conversation with,
You were such an amazing mother and I love you.
she told myself and my partner that I'm a terrible mother and that I don't love my partner. She moved on quickly to accusing me of being on drugs. Her reasoning was that I got so upset
Out of nowhere during the conversation.
and being on drugs was the only thing that could explain that behaviour. You know, not the PTSD attack while my own mother screams at me to shut up, get over it, that I'm a terrible mother and that I don't love my partner. So I hung up and texted her to never speak to me again. She then decided to blackmail me by telling me she's a mandated reporter and that if I didn't start having a closer relationship with her and making my children see her more, and letting her keep them by herself, she'd report me to the DHS. Entitled mother said that she'd say that I'm on drugs and incompetent to care for my children because I have epilepsy, from a head injury I sustained in her care as a child. The allegation's completely false. The only thing I'm on is epilepsy medication prescribed by my doctor. But just in case, I bought a full spectrum drug test, took it in front of a witness, took a picture of the results, I'm clean, and have the entire thing on video. I'm perfectly capable of taking care of my children and they are both healthy, happy and well-rounded. On top of all this, entitled mother has also stated she'll take me to court to get grandparents' rights to get my children.
Whether I like it or not.
So she's literally blackmailing me to make myself and my children have a relationship with her that we do not want. I don't want to put my children through that, but I also don't want to put them through DHS investigations and interviews and a whole ass court case, which could end in them being forced to see her anyway. I'm terrified that she'll treat my children the same way she treated me, and I've been a mama bear to try and keep anything bad that happened to me as a child from ever happening to them. So, I'm gathering evidence of her blackmail, evidence that I'm a perfectly capable mother, evidence that my children are cared for emotionally, financially, physically and medically. Then, on Monday, I'm going to go to my local DHS office and let them know about everything going on. Get the jump on her myself and then go no contact. Some details. She told me this via a drunken phone call, blackmail. She accused me of drug use via text after I texted to no longer contact me. Her exact text message was, "Get off the drugs, can't help your kids if you're not coherent," and she used the wrong yaw. And then, "OP, I'm a mandated reporter, so if you don't want to visit or call, I can't change that, but... ... All of these are after I said, "Do not contact me ever again." She says she knows I'm doing all this to punish her for something she didn't do, and that I'm playing my partner. But he didn't buy into her BS and is being very supportive. Well, if the events fell as described, and the OP's responses in the comments suggest that they probably did, this entitled mother is batshit. And she's probably not going to have to worry about the responsibility of being a mandated reporter for long. Well, that was a bit of a roller coaster, wasn't it? Perhaps you'd like to meet up with an old pal and put the world to rights over a bottle or four of cask strength peaty single malt, a Laphroaig 18 maybe, or a Lagavulin 21. A drop or two of water or a single cube of ice really helps release and develop those beautiful flavours. And as you continue drinking, and the night inevitably descends into an onslaught of sex, violence and debauchery, you might want to switch over to a bottle of whatever cat piss you can get for under a tenner at the local 24-hour shop, as you make a futile attempt to slake the thirst for oblivion you've now unleashed. And remember, most importantly, Howdy, bastard! Say you next time.